Hello, everybody! Welcome back to Bear's Workshop. And the rumors of my death are not true. I am here. I'm back from vacation. And we are going to do the 230th flyover of the Nikola site. And have we got updates for you guys? So, first, we're going to take a look and see what happened in the stock market today with Nikola. I'm just going to laugh because otherwise I would cry. So, welcome back, everybody. I see Brian's in there. Tyler's here. We got Glenn and a couple of other people. Glad to see everyone. We're going to, of course, go over the stock first so that we can just give everyone else time to show up. And we're going to go to that here in a second. Let's bring it up. And there it is. So, horrible day for Nikola. A horrible day for a lot of EV stocks, except for Tesla. Tesla was up today. They were up $5, 5.72. But Nikola somehow was down 10%, losing 54 cents and ending up at 458. So if you're a believer, now's definitely the time to buy. But remember, that's entertainment advice, not really stock advice. So yeah, Nikola's down, Lucid's down, Rivian was down. So a lot of the car companies, electric car companies, except for Tesla, just took kind of a hit today. And we've got the Fed meeting tomorrow and Wednesday, and I'm sure they're going to raise interest rates another probably 3/4 of a point. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not too bad. But obviously that's something that affects car sales with interest rates going up. It's good to see everyone is back in the chat. I'm glad you guys came back. And hopefully you didn't miss me too much. But let's get going with the video because it's kind of cool. Oh, look at that. It started on its own. Even after I told it not to. All right. So as that's going, we did see a report last week, or a picture, that Nikola last week had produced truck number 100, which in my math, for Q3, they have to produce 60. They're supposed to produce 60 to 75 trucks. That was their projection. If they're at 100 trucks, they have produced 52, because they got 48 in the second quarter, and 60 to 75 if they've got truck number 100 out. That means they've got 52 trucks, and that was last week. So things have still happened, so they probably made more trucks. But we're going to see truck number 100, and we're also going to see a couple other things like steel. If you look on the right side of your screen, you can see the crane over here, and they got steel going up over there. Of course, we'll take a look at that here in a moment. And you can see a packed employee parking lot. Again, people are parking in the dirt because they have no places to park. While you guys are waiting for us to do our fly around and get to something a little bit more exciting than the solar panels, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Would really appreciate that. And here we are sliding over to the east, and we're going to see all the steel that's gone up in the last week. All right, so here we are. We see the crane. We see they've got about 4 sections completed, 3 on the left, 1 in the middle, and they're working on a section right there. There's going to be 4 sections wide going all the way to the back. I think we mathed it out at 270,000 square foot. So they're going to get all that steel up. They're working on, looks like the next step is to get the roof trusses up, and that's probably what's going to be going up next in that little section. So that's good to see. Very exciting to see that this building is going to get much, much larger really quick. And we're going to stare at that for a moment. But you can see they've got a lot of materials laid out there. Jokel says that his friend didn't believe that Nikola was actually making trucks in He recommended the channel to check out the videos. Brad W. picked up another 5,000 shares today. Finally down to a $7 a share cost. I might be buying more later this week if it stays on sale. Yes, that's right. It is on sale. There's a nice overhead view looking down at the steel work that's going in, and you can see some of the roof decking material has been laid on top. What's the intended use for this expansion, Brian is asking. Brian from My Tesla Weekend. They are going to expand their production line out so that instead of having the 15 or so stops on the production line, they will have probably 3 or 4 times as many. That means the production line will move along quicker as they finish each section of the production line. They'll spend less time because they've got more spots, and that gives them the ability to put out more trucks quicker. Because if the production line moves, if they're doing 5 a day, that means they're moving like every 2 hours on a 10-hour workday. Now, if you bring the production line, if you increase the number of stops from, let's say, from the 15 to 45, and they're able to go through it quicker, they can actually move the production line, let's say, every 40 minutes. And therefore you're getting trucks out quicker. And Brian says, so closer to a line and less like stations. Yes, but not automated. So on the left hand side you can see the full scope of where that new section of that building is going to be. Almost the entire size of the original building. I believe the original might be 5 sections wide, could be 4, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's adding quite a bit of space. And as you can see, as we're flying in, there's trucks everywhere. There are trucks all over the place. Yes, we did see truck 100, and that truck was produced last week. We know that, so there's got to have been more trucks produced since then. We just did not capture it. 100 was the highest number truck that we have seen, and we've never before said it, but since it was released elsewhere, we are confirming that truck VIN number ending in 100 is out there. Brian says that's what Arcimoto desperately needed, a production line. Oh, here we have cabs. Let's take a brief stop on the cabs for a second. I want to just throw some numbers at you. On our last flyover, we saw 178 cabs. Now we see 145. That means there is 27 less cabs. We also saw 47 frames on our last flyover. We now see 35. And to be honest with you, I think, was it 8 or 11 of those frames look like they were new frames. So we're seeing a reduction in parts sitting outside because they're using them to build trucks, which is obviously fantastic, and that's what we want to see. So all those trucks out there, that's quite a lot of trucks. And not only did we see the trucks sitting there, there are 2 semis, diesel semis with big old flatbeds getting ready to take some of them away. I believe there's one pulling in the top of the screen. You can see it right up here, right where my mouse is. You can see one of the flatbed trucks are rolling in, and those are the trucks that they use to pick up the BEVs and take them away. So that one's coming in, and I think there's one already in there, or it's coming. So those will transport the Tre BEVs and off to where they're going to be sold. On the left-hand side, you can see some of the frames. Those look like new ones that were placed there. Got one, a random one laying here, and we've got a stack of about 30-ish right there. This is another view of the employee parking lot. Those solar panels, completely, all the parking spots are filled. Then this over here, that is also employee parking, construction parks somewhere else. Mac asked, why was it such a red day for us today? Well, it was a red day for a lot of EV stocks. So we're hoping that that's all it was. We've got the drama of the Trevor Milton show going on. Apparently he's putting up a really decent defense, but you know, it is what it is. We're just going to have to wait for that to play out. And Jose says he doesn't mind the price, and he hopes it stays in this range for the next few months, because I'm looking forward to picking up close to 3,000 shares. Well, this is a sale price. Without a doubt, you're getting it at, if you buy now, you're going to get it at the lowest price it's been at almost forever. Not that that's really exciting, but Nikola has been a little bit lower than this, but they definitely have the potential to move up, especially when they announce that they've met their goal, which probably won't come until quarter 3 earnings report. But we can see it clearly that they are on truck 100, and they are 10 away from meeting the minimum part of their goal. 60 to 75 means that they're going to get to VIN number 110 to 125. And I know we only got 10 days left in the month, but I think they can get up to probably 120, if not more. I don't know what their production rate is. So if they get to 120, that means they were able to produce 70 trucks, being closer to the high end of their goal. Hey, Josh is here. Hello, Josh. Yes, I am well. Good to see you, Josh. Josh is our resident expert on the construction of this facility right here, as he holds a very big title at Wallbridge. And as you can see, we've got materials laid out. The concrete is going to go in here after, due to the size of this layout. Putting the concrete in first would mean that they'd have to get a much larger crane to reach the further distances, and this is a less expensive way to do this, by laying out the steel first and then coming in with the concrete. Casey says Jim Cramer came out bearish on Nikola this morning. Yes, I saw that. He came out very, very bearish. I didn't see the full report. All I saw was the headline, and when I clicked on the ad, it just repeated the headline, saying that he does not like Nikola. Jose had VTIQ before it was Nikola, and got out when it was $70. That's pretty good. There might be a couple of guys in here who bought those shares from you, and they're hoping for the best right now. Josh said, good things happening. The soldiers are doing well. Yes, they are. We'd love to see the progress. Torsten said 3 trays a day now, says Low Scheller. Well, if it is 3 a day right now, and they're working, it appears that they're working 5 days a week. We've got another week and a half, easily putting out 15. Let's see. I don't have a calendar in front of me, and if I open it up, it's going to ruin this video. So we've got about almost 2 weeks left. Let's say there's 7 days, and 7 times 3, it's another 21 trucks, plus the couple that they made after 100. They could easily be at 130 by the end of quarter, and that would not only meet their goal, that would surpass their goal. Yes, Tyler, I believe that they are working 5 days a week. We've been coming by on Fridays occasionally, and we have seen everyone out there working. There's the 2 semis right there, just off to the right. You missed it. There we go, right here. Those are the semis that are going to pick up the semis. And everybody listen to what Jogel said in the comments. It's very important. Hit the like button. That's what he's saying. And we only got 39 likes, 105 people on here. So there's a good 60 of you right now that needs to hit that like button. Includes you, Brian. Brian's always more interested in production than delivery. Once built, they will be delivered, even if it slips to the next quarter based on logistics. And that's true. John Suchbad said, what was their quarter three delivery goal? I'm not sure what the delivery goal was. I think they just had a production goal. And the production goal was 60 to 75 trucks for the third quarter. And I firmly believe that I can confirm that they're at 52 as of last week. Skeeterman wants to know, the trucks filling reservations are going out to the dealerships. I do not know the answer to that question. And Gigi wants to know if anyone in Arizona knows where the Nikola is building the first H2 plant yet. They have not announced that unless they did it while I was on vacation and didn't have any internet service, but I have not heard of a location yet. And Brad, talking about the footage doesn't lie. They're growing and building out. The next 12 months are going to tell us everything we need to know. And the footage doesn't lie, and that's why I have more confidence in Nikola than a lot of people who just want to be internet trolls and say nothing's happening. Now, the video is over, but we will rewind it for the people who showed up late. Yes, we will rewind. We will hit that rewind button. Make the noise. Okay, we rewound it. Be kind, rewind. We're just going to start over and keep talking because we can. Max says, even if they produce 300 trucks this year, they have they sold them? Are the tax benefits from the IRA available in 2022, or do they start in 2023? I believe that they start in 2023 for those tax benefits. Whether or not they've sold them, once they've gone to a dealership, they are considered sold. They get paid for them, and they can move on, and the dealerships need to just place them. And Jogel Saw is very excited about the FCEV that's now being tested. And I haven't been able to look at it today. I've had a very busy day. I know they announced it this morning. And I saw something about the rear tires, and I did not get to completely look into that because they have the tires are reversed. They look like the front tires with the those rims are reversible. You can put them either way, and they have them reversed for reasons that I have not been able to figure out yet. I thought I saw something about four-wheel steering, but I don't want to say something that is way out of line. So, how much rage is the FCV? I know Olivia meant range, but the FCV is going to be about 500 miles of range. Christian wants to know if there's any news from the Milton trial. 10% drop could be him selling shares to cover his trial cost. I think he's already sold all the shares for his trial costs. I don't think he would do that in the middle of the trial. His defense is putting up a pretty good defense. It doesn't mean that he went overboard in promises, so we'll have to see what happens. But the fact that the short seller made $600,000 off of the information that's a little sketchy. And I've always said that a short seller or someone putting out a negative report with information where they are going to be profiting from it, it's kind of dubious and devious and not trustworthy, because when they're making so much money off of putting out this report, they're doing it solely for their gain. And in a sense, it is stock manipulation. We got a hi from Australia. Now, how you doing? Across the world. I am speaking across the world. That's kind of cool. And Mayer says that this channel was the final trigger to hit the buy button. Trevor did, unfortunately, a bad job with the consequences that there still are many disbelievers. Results are key. Yes, I've called him a snake oil salesman before, but he is a salesman, And what he did was he did sell this idea to a lot of people, and he oversold it. But at the same time, his idea did create what we're looking at right now. So I'm not going to come to his defense. If he's found not guilty, I think that would be great for Nikola, in a sense. But there's also other issues that could come from that, and I'm just going to have to wait to see how it plays out. Sean wants to know if I ever think Trevor Milton will ever come back to Nikola in the future. I do not think so. I just think that there's just too much going on there, and honestly, what does Trevor Milton as a person, and this is not knocking him, what does he have to offer Nikola? Well, he's a salesman, and he can pitch things, but now he's considered not trustworthy, even if he's found not guilty, because he oversold things. He said things that weren't true. We all know that. So what could he offer Nikola? Is he an electrical engineer? Is he an engineer that deals in hydrogen? He's an idea guy. And honestly, he's got his 10% of Nikola. He doesn't have that much to offer Nikola itself. So, and William says Trevor had nothing to do with the Trey BEV, nothing. It was all done after he left, right? And that's kind of what I'm saying is, whether he had ideas of we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and got the ball rolling. He started this, but it's other people that are going to be required to finish it. People that have a lot more smarts in this field than he does. He's not a college graduate with a degree in any type of engineering of any type, let alone anything that would be relevant to this. Jose says steering axles on the FCV. That's what I saw, but I didn't really get into that, and I didn't see how it worked. But I would love to see what a rear steering axle on the FCEV would look like. Robert says, welcome back, and he missed me. Thank you. Deep says, Milton was an amazing salesman. I wouldn't call him amazing because he went too far. He went too far. Does GM still have a stake in Nikola? What are some of the other big investors? I believe GM does not have a stake in Nikola any longer. They backed out of their $2 billion own a certain percentage of the company thing, which is ironic because that's what the value of the company is now. Be interesting to see what happens to the stock price once a major company like Anheuser-Busch, UPS, FedEx, or Government K announces a large purchase order, hopefully coming sooner rather than later. Anheuser-Busch has an order in for 800 fuel cell trucks. Now those trucks won't be produced probably until late next year or 2024. So that's great. They're orders, but they are not orders that can be fulfilled right now. D-Wiz says Trevor's a BS artist. Nobody should ever believe him again. Con man from the word go. I tend to agree with that. Peter wants to know if the dynamometer, big words, dyno building is up and running. I'm not sure if it is or not. I have not seen any trucks enter there, and I have not seen any trucks leave there. So we're just not sure about that yet. And I got a hello from Istanbul, Turkey. Hello back to Istanbul. It used to be Constantinople. Nikola got a $12 price target last week. I'd love to see that this week. Not the target, but the actual price. That would be awesome. But I would also like to see Nikola announce some type of sales. I really thought that was going to happen at the second quarter earnings. Would like to see some sales projections. Boss USA says, free Trevor, we need him back. We are blessed to buy cheap shares with all of this nonsense going with Trevor. Boss, I hope you don't want him back. What would we need him for? Penny Machine wants to know, I'm late, how many trucks are on the lot currently? Did not do a count of the trucks, but the highest VIN number we saw was 100. So we are confirming that. Confirming 52 trucks have been produced for quarter three. The goal is 60 to 75. So, and we're getting 3 trucks produced a day. So we're looking at meeting, if not exceeding, the goal that Nikola set down. And Brian says he doesn't believe that the majority of investors would be comfortable with Milton's return. I agree with that. I would not be comfortable. iMelt has counted 45 plus trucks on the lot. He counted, and he would know. He's got excellent eyes. Any comment on the hydrogen infrastructure? Yeah, we're waiting on it. That's just the waiting game to see what happens with it. Hopefully, we get some announcements on locations. I'm not sure if they've actually settled on it. It is possible that they could have hydrogen generation done at this site. There's a part of it that makes sense. They've got to deal with APS for cheap electricity. Very cheap. Less than 3 cents a kilowatt, I believe, like 2.7 cents a kilowatt. Once they have the fuel cell trucks coming off the line, they'd be able to fill them up before they left. And you need to have hydrogen there. Otherwise, because you've got new trucks, you got to fill them up with something. Sam Alexander just did a video on the USPS nonsense. Pretty frustrating. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, but I did see it pop up. And Sam's done a couple of videos on that nonsense, and it is ridiculous what's going on with that. You guys should check out Sam's page. It's Sam Alexander on YouTube, and see some of the stuff that's going on with the USPS. And I'm not a fan of them right now. They won't deliver to my house just because my dog bit one of them. I don't think that's right either. So I'm willing to go after the USPS also with dogs. Boss says Trevor meant good and unfortunately went way ahead of himself. Yes, he did. But again, I ask you, boss, what value does he have right now? Let him take his, if he's found innocent, let him take his 10%. If he's not, then he needs to sell some of those shares and pay Nikola back. It's $125 million that'll be back in Nikola's coffers. Now, the ASA is still waiting for installation locations according to the latest Q report. So, there was some information on Nella ASA had shipped the equipment over, and from there, went to Arizona. I don't know where it went from there because we haven't heard anything. And that just reminded me that someone had sent me some information earlier about more bill of ladings. Now I'm taking a look at it on Twitter. That's where my head is pointed at. 26 more cabs coming in 3 days ago from Belgium. Either 26 plus accessories. Quantities 29 units. And then another bill of lading that says 20 cabs with spare parts. And that is dated also the 16th. And then we have lithium ion batteries, and that is 46,000 kilograms. That's a pretty heavy load. Somebody wants to do the math on that. 100 tons of cells. So, and that was that came from Korea, and that was delivered on the 14th. So there is more and more parts coming in. So those cabs that we saw, those are not the new cabs. I'm not sure exactly where the new cabs are yet, but they may not have reached the actual site. Thank you, boss. I appreciate that super chat. He says, welcome back, Baron. Glad to see you back, USA. And just so you know, I wasn't in the USA. I actually went to Canada for a couple different stops. Got a high from Italy. I am spanning the globe. How come I never get highs from China, though? China or Russia? Never get anything from them. Let's see. Manny wants to when you do a flyover of Lucid to Lucid. We'll have one later today. We did do one. We're not going to be doing the live stream part, but we will have a Lucid flyover. Let's see, Tip Ranks is projecting for Nikola a high of $12.50, average of $9.50, and a low of $6 per share. Yeah, well, they're already wrong on that low, unless that starts tomorrow or something. All right. Let's see, how are we doing on time? Well, we've gone through the video twice. I'm just going to rewind it again. You guys are still chatting away. So until that starts drying up with things for me to say, then we'll keep going. Bob Travis says, I have heard that if a Nikola truck gets one flat tire, that all the tires will need to be replaced. Is this true? I've never heard of such a thing, and I can't imagine why anything like that would be true. That sounds like FUD. I don't know where it came from or why, but that's not true. Deep says, I know my all-wheel drive was that way. I would never replace all four tires. I know that Teslas, like the Model Y, or I'm sorry, I think on the Model 3, I had tires that were out of sync because we had replaced two tires because they needed it, and the other two tires started saying that they were wearing too fast. So when you looked at them, they were worn, but they weren't done yet. The car actually was measuring the rotation and said replace the tires. But I don't believe that if you buy a tray and you pull out and you get a flat tire that you're going to have to replace all the others. If you've gone through like 75% of a tire and one of them blows out, there could be something in there that's measuring the tread life and to get it back in sync. But just because you're getting a flat tire and you have to replace one doesn't always have to be that way. I know car manufacturers do recommend on some vehicles to do that, but I think it's absurd, and I would never do that unless I had a warning message stuck up on my screen like I did with my Model 3. Skitterman says that he enjoys the flyovers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any news on when Pures will be produced? Haven't heard a thing, and I haven't seen any Pures. Well, besides a few that we have, but that's been a while. Yeah, and Deeps is still talking, or I'm finally reading his comments, that if the tire tread is lower on one tire, it rotates at a different speed than the others. You would think that with all the technology, they'd be able to compensate for something like that, especially in the electric cars. Let's see. Christian says, is there a chance for you to record inside of the factory? Well, we have before. If you go back to our channel and you go back to, I think it was like April 27th, give or take a couple of days, we were able to go in the factory. We were invited in. We did a lot of recording, and you can see the different stations and the things that they have there. So check out our channel and you can find that. See, Bob says he saw the information on the tires on a YouTube video from a truck company testing the Nikola. See, and the Nikolas aren't all-wheel drive, so I don't really think that it's would apply. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to have a. I think there should be something in there to compensate for tires of different sizes. Joggle says the Nikola needs a contract or a grant from the Department of Energy to secure the hydrogen infrastructure plan. Well, I know that Nikola is working very hard with other companies, what would be their competitors, to get a standard going for hydrogen, for charging stations, for how much PSI, what kind of connectors, and all these companies are going to have to work together for an infrastructure. Okay, Deeps is getting really technical now. If you take a 36-inch tall tire, add a quarter inch to it, 1/8 of an inch on each side, one tire would go 113.8 feet and the other tire would go 113.04. So how do they compensate for that? Because you can't always have all your tires the same. Just not possible. Max says Elon should buy Nikola instead of Twitter. Elon does not like Nikola because they're into hydrogen. And Sean is reminding us that Nikola hit a 1.8 billion market cap today. Not good. Not good. And we're gonna push past that, and hopefully maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Do I think the Badger has a chance? None. I don't think there's a chance that the Badger is going to come back anytime in the next 10 years. If you read some of the information on the Badger, a lot of it or some of it was made with an F-150 Raptor. It was put together with parts, which, that's something you can do. That's not illegal. But when you present it as something that you built from the ground up, which somebody did, then that can become a problem. So that's for the courts to figure out, not us. We just want to see the trucks get produced, which is what we're doing right now. Right. So Brian and I do have our fast charging tomorrow. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific. We've got another Lucid video coming out later this afternoon, and then we'll have another flyover of the Nikola site and of the Lucid site later this week. Not sure what day yet, but that is coming for the future. You guys got anything else that you want to say? Throw it up there. Let's get up there and we can discuss. Torstein asked me what do I think about the Eon Nikola collaboration. I was out of town and I barely was able to see anything. All I saw that there was a collaboration. But I just don't know that much about it to speak on it yet. Okay. Fun fact from Torah, Musk is the same as Badger. I'm not sure what that means. All right. Okay, so we're going to just get ready to call this here in like 10 seconds. When's the next Lucid flyover? That'll be out later today. We are working on processing that, and we will have that out shortly. And boss says today. Yes, it will be today. Probably about an hour or so. And I want to thank everyone for being here. We will have a Lucid video out later today, and then our next live stream tomorrow. And you guys can all come back and chat it up with me and Ryan on Fast Charging with B&B. So thank you everyone for being here. I'm glad you guys got your fix and we got another flyover done. I want to thank everyone for watching. Bye-bye, everyone. And I'm still here because my mouse died. Well, when it comes back, we'll end the stream.